Hey everyone, Worm Empire back at you. Now, if you look back from a long time ago, I started this bin a long time ago. It started off as this little clear container with a white lid, and it had a few cocoons, and it had maybe 50 little worms that I had found. Because I'm kind of obsessed with the breeding process and just making more from nothing, this is what it's become. And I think it's probably been about 7 or 8 months since I've put that many worms in here, but lately I've been feeding. There's some mushrooms that are starting to grow out of here, so that's a good sign. I think I've been underfeeding this bin a bit. Sometimes I'm bad at getting used to the amount that a bin needs. And then as the population grows, you need to actually feed them more. Yes. So I don't actually know sometimes how many are in one place, and I just go by how quickly the food disappears. So I have been feeding this bin a lot lately because they have grown slowly. I definitely could have done the process faster. But I was more just trying to get them comfortable with the bin, to get the worms sort of comfortable with a new bin. And then I kind of just got into that habit, and I realized I was sort of underfeeding them, and I'd like this population to grow more. So I'm just loading them up with food the way I kind of used to in the old days. There's a lot of scraps left in here. I threw some longer term stuff in here so they could keep working at stuff if I was a little bit late in feeding them. But I'm giving them potatoes and more longer term stuff. So potatoes and this corn skin. Oh, there's one in there. This is all longer term stuff for them to eat and break down. But that's good just in case I get busy. There's medium term stuff like coffee. That's the coffee. And the filters are a good carbon source. And there's already short-term stuff that they're still working on, like the pumpkin. There's the top of a pumpkin right there. This one actually didn't take. You can see how yellow it is. This is sort of one of the fouled pumpkin, as I call it. It didn't really take. It just turned yellow and stopped growing on the plant. It's from my garden. But my goal here is to just keep filling this up, this whole bin up, and I want it to be really heavy and dense with worms. And I'm gonna keep running this. I'm not sure if it's an experiment. It kind of is to me. I want to try and fill this whole bin up naturally with the tiny amount of worms that I started with. I want to fill the whole thing up and have them reach a maximum population density for the area of this. But in order to do that, I believe I have to feed these guys like crazy. But they are through here. You get down to the bottom, and they're all through here, and they're doing their thing. And a lot of these worms are actually very small. Those are very small. And that's a good sign, because that means even though I'm not locating them, there's cocoons all through here. They're liking the food. They're liking everything that they have in here. I've never seen any worms crawl up the side. That's a good indicator of if they're happy or not, mostly to do with temperature and acidity. I'm pushing the envelope with the temperature of this bin. I don't measure it. I don't measure the temperature of the bin. I probably should, to be more accurate and to give you guys more information, but I still have never seen, oh yes, I have never seen them try and crawl out. So that leads me to conclude that it's not hot enough, and I can keep loading up food in here. And my indicator, as a very novice and basic worm farmer is that let them talk to you. I could use numbers, and I can use thermometers and all sorts of things of that nature. And but at the scale I'm at, I'm comfortable just letting them talk to me. And I haven't made this bin warm enough or hot enough to a point where they've wanted to abandon it. So it's also at the very bottom shelf of my stack. So that would actually have a little bit to do with it too. The top of your room is always warmer than the bottom of your room. So if you ever want to just give a free boost to certain bins, put them on the top shelf. This one stays at the bottom. But in order to have these guys grow and multiply at the rate that I hope that I can make them do so, I'm just feeding them crazy amounts of food. But some of it is a midterm food. It's not all very fast food. So coffee, I find, can get really warm and make nice hot spots for them to go to and breed into, while also creating like a longer term food source than something like just a slice of vegetables and things like that. So you know what, I'm just gonna keep doing this. But those groupings of worms that I've been picking out, they are getting to the bottom of that food source. I can tell there's not a lot left. There's just piles of them and not much food left. So they're probably just hovering around a localized area where they're happy, and where a bunch of food used to be, and where the remaining kind of juices and bits of what they were eating is still there. So if I don't see a lot of food that's actually there, then I know that it's probably okay for me to start adding a little bit more food. As said, this is faster than I normally would feed them, but I'm only doing that with the intention of trying to make the bin warm, which is also to help them replicate more. And when they feel like they have an abundance of food and an abundance of warmth, they have a tendency of breeding more. So eventually, when this fills up, I will harvest what's in here, but for now, I'm just gonna keep trying to fill this up. I've added some bedding, new bedding from the last time I fed here, which I didn't record. But I want to fill this up, and by the time I fill this up, this will be really heavy, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And I probably have 50 or more pounds of castings in here alone, maybe even more than that. But right now it's not there. I need more worms. They make the castings, and then I just got to make sure I keep giving them more food than I think they need, because every time I come back, there's more worms and they actually need more food. So that's sort of my big bin update and what I'm doing about it and what I'm trying to accomplish with it. So hopefully by then it will be nice and full in a few months time. So like and subscribe if you like the video. We'll see you next time. No, you'll see you next time. I didn't even see him there. Bye.